Okay, hey guys, so this is Theo, and I wanted to take some time to just talk about some art questions that I prompted for Twitter, and I got some responses asking, just for general art tips and just my opinion on things. So I really appreciate the input. Let's just go down the list. Okay, so first off, it starts off with Gino Dark asking, how do I stop myself from procrastinating? I wish to improve, and I have lots of tools to improve, but I keep stopping myself by distracting myself with other stuff, even though in the back of my mind, I know I should stop. I should keep working on my art. So, yeah, first off, I think like procrastination is something that everyone faces. I have this really bad habit sometimes too, where if at the back of my mind, I know I have like even one more client that I have to finish, I'll do everything productively, but in the wrong direction. So I'll like clean up and tidy my entire room. I'll figure out what chores I have left. I'll do dishes. I'll make sure the whole house is spick and span. And I'll just avoid being productive on the last thing that I want to do. And I guess that's kind of the epitome of procrastination. So I think like it's sort of off the cuff, like as I'm thinking about it, I eventually get to going, like building momentum once I just let myself not bother with any other kind of stimulus or distractions. And I really think that I thrive in a quiet and like kind of plain and clean environment. So like if I have too much clutter around myself, I just let myself fidget and just touch stuff. And like if I have phone notifications going off like every second, I have to silence all that stuff. So all of this like kind of noise reducing is really important for myself to check myself and keep myself like focused and making sure that I just let myself kind of sit here and mull around in my head and think about what I have on my agenda. So that's how I sort of start, and I try to increase those chances of starting and being productive on the things that I need to be. So that's yeah, that's my answer. Just try to let yourself mull in the like take a slow start and like just kind of groove into it. And don't distract yourself too much. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Sir Fox a lot. Not a question, but something that I thought would be important to add when doing commission work is to be communicative with clients. Daily progress updates or even just reaching out to say that you're gonna be busy for a day or so really helps the business side of art. So yes, I mean I think that's sort of a good general rule for anything really. Like so Sir Fox really does point out that as long as you stay in touch with your clients, especially your clients, like come on, they're hiring you to do work. You should give them some updates, even if it's like kind of a bad, or it might sound negative that you couldn't get to their artwork just yet. It's still really important to let them know that, hey, I got sick, or hey, I was busy. And like, even if you had a real job, like even at a regular day job, you gotta let like people that you're working with know when you're not available, or if you're struggling with something. That's all like good, because it's all keeping people in touch and on the same basis, so you can make progress from there. So yeah, super good point, Sir Fox a lot. Thank you. So we have not Alex Otter. They ask, how long does it take for someone to develop their own style of drawing, and how long does it take for someone to actually become comfortable slash happy with their work? Okay, I don't know about that last part, but we'll get to there. So how long does it take someone to develop their own style in drawing? I think, yeah, that's definitely a big question that I kept asking myself when I first started, like in the first year or two of when I said, hey, I'm going to take art seriously. And there's honestly, I think that's like, if I could tell myself when I first started, was like not to get anxiety over it and like just chill out. Um, it just comes along, and honestly, it'll do it very naturally because you have your own taste and you know what kind of art that you like, because that's probably like, I bet you there's a gallery on FA or on DeviantArt or Twitter, your like page, that all represents like your style already. Like you already have a preference for the type of things that you like to look at. That's probably why it inspires you to go out and make those things. So what I like to do is actually go through other people's artists that I look up to. I'll go to their FA or social media or whatever, and I'll check out their gallery likes, and I'll be like, wow, their likes are really similar to what they're already producing. And they kind of feed off of each other, and you notice that like their inspired work inspires similar art around them, and it sort of just builds this like gravity around them, and it just, yeah, it's just a really interesting thing that I noticed, that the style just comes out really naturally. So I wouldn't say it should be a big worry. If you really feel like you want to nail the style, studying other artists is even a bigger step. It's like a huge step in the right direction to just really nailing something. If you find even bits and pieces in other masters' works, or just things like that, you don't have to like an entire art piece to necessarily like absorb it all. Like you can just find the bits and pieces in that art piece that you like, and then just pull those out and then keep those for yourself, and then just build on top of that. So it'll come, don't worry. It's not it's not as elusive as you think. And oh, okay, so that latter question, how long does it take for someone to actually become comfortable slash happy with their work? uh I would say it gets easier after you develop a sense of like the fundamentals. And like, what do I mean by fundamentals? You know, you have like a decent understanding of anatomy, you know how to place things in perspective, you know how to deal with different forms, you know general ratios and proportions, and how to compose your art. There are so many things that like artists are really balancing in something that you may not notice or understand unless you go through study and reading a lot of good art books that just really kind of culminate and just gather along the way. So I would say it's tough ever trying to be content with what you're doing if you always want to try and improve, because it's kind of like paradoxical that way. Um, you you really should just try to do your best, and sometimes like at the end of the day, you'll look back on your work and be and even kind of question yourself, like, wow, like I did all that. Sometimes that's demotivating because you're like, man, I've got to do more. I got to live up to my past self and my past like hard alpha male toxic grind standards or whatever the heck. um but yeah, like I would say personally, once I was more confident, though, I'll put it that way. I was more confident once I felt like I knew some forms and shapes and styles that I liked, that I put together, that I could then draw from. Where sort of the blank canvas is no longer as intimidating just because it's a blank canvas. It's it's funny because you're supposed to use that turn of a phrase more so to be in like, you have free reign, you have all the freedom to explore and create what you want on a blank canvas. So yeah, I think it took about maybe 2 or 3 years until I was more or less comfortable with just trying to draw. Oh, okay. So Pax Emerson, what does he have here? A lot of newer artists. Wait, sorry. A lot of newer artists are training primarily at home on their own without a group of classmates, teachers, etc. Any tips on finding and connecting with fellow artists and building that elusive support network? Hmm. I guess it could be elusive. I don't know. Um, yeah, so that is a really good point. Yeah, a lot of people, in these weird couple of years as we get into 2020s have been like, everybody's stuck at home. It's super unsociable. Uh, but yeah, it's like, it's not even antisocial. It's just that we haven't had all the opportunities and freedoms as we did before with everybody locked inside. So I think having that community and rapport with like your peers in a class as you would normally if you're studying in high school or in college, or having like an online forum, is super important to people who are in an art community. Like, you have to talk to people. That's what a community is. Sharing art is super important and super validating. And I think that if you make something, you should put it out there and get responses on it, critiques, or just like even a like thumbs up. That's cool. Let's see. So, any tips on finding and connecting with fellow artists? Uh, kind of more so than ever before, since people are more secluded now and locked in their homes, everyone's going online. You could check out so many more art pages and social media platforms that really do offer a lot of networking opportunities. Even like start off just with your friends, see what they say, see like what avenues or platforms they like to put their stuff on. For me, I started off in like middle school and high school, just going and kind of perusing and being a fly on the wall, looking at all the art that I liked and just making a favorite gallery there, and then just reading comments on other people's stuff. But as I got more into sharing my art online, I've had my own community in the fur community. So, like because I draw more anthropomorphic things, a lot of people are in that mind space, and a lot of people are quick to jump on sharing their characters on that and hiring you to put their characters in different scenes and situations. So I would say, especially in the furry community, it's a super hyper online social network that is like really shareable and like really chill, and people are really cool there. So I don't know, jump on Telegram. Telegram's another good free resource that lets you just share things. You can make Telegram art channels. You can make a YouTube page. You can make a DeviantArt. You can even make like other more professional portfolio type stuff and get a lot of connections there through what was it? ArtStation. Yeah, that's another good one that I use. So really, like, yeah, online is a must, I think, for any modern artist. If you just want to talk to like physical artists, we exist. Like, you could even go to conventions, and although sometimes, artists are there to mostly sell things and do more of the business side of things, I'm sure you could strike up a conversation and learn a few things, and like that would be like, I don't know, maybe one person comes along and just says the one thing that's totally invaluable, and you just take that forever. So just put yourself out there and then share stuff, and I feel like you'll naturally find peers and friends, maybe enemies. I don't know. So we have Among Greywood. Uh, and in Japanese it says Florian, or something. I think it would be a good idea if you weren't already planning to put Amazon affiliate slash referral links in your description to gear or art supplies and reference books that you like to use. Yeah, that can be really helpful. So obviously there's like all kinds of things that people can recommend that, work for them. And there's no one true like magical pen or pencil or digital tablet or whatever that will make things work magically for you. But if you find something that you like because of a artist that you look up to has that thing, then yeah, give it a try. I was sort of that way with what was it? Digital art brush packs. I use Photoshop for my work, so I often like see what other artists I like that have really cool concept brushes. So yeah, they had affiliate links and they had a bunch of links to their stuff on their Gumroad. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, keep those things like maybe on the bottom of your YouTube page or anywhere that you could just use as a quick like FAQ page on any of your websites or for Affinity or something like that. I think that'll be really valuable. I don't think that I have that on mine, so I should add some section of that where people can find that. That would be really good. So thank you for that, Among Greywood. We have Northern Lynn, how to hands, LOL. I know, right? I mean, just as a quick aside, hands are super expressive. They honestly are something that's so slept on that, like, if the quicker you learn hands or gestures, the basic anatomy of hands, like even little simple cartoony hands, if you can throw that in your artwork, other than doing the whole very shameful hiding them under the crossed arms or behind the head or in the pockets, like just draw them. Draw something that expresses some language but yeah, with like body. It's a part of your body. You can express all kinds of things. So I have some general anatomy books. Like on a serious note, just check out the portions of anatomy books that just feature hands. That would be really good. For real though, generally I'm wondering how to gain ideas on what to draw, and what kind of process do you recommend when drawing? This includes environment slash character first, etc. So how do you get ideas about what to draw? And I think this ties into one of the questions that was asked before about just building a library of knowledge for you to refer to so you don't have to struggle or scramble for just looking at an empty canvas, as intimidating as that is. If you're looking at the things that already inspire you, just keep them on your desktop page. Look at them, pull up multiple tabs. Like check out art books that have some of your favorite artwork from, I don't know, different companies, or Cartoon Network books. I've got like a ton of video game books, from like Spyro to like the Art of Ooh from Adventure Time to just even my basic Andrew Loomis figure drawing books. There's so much stuff that you could just like ingest and absorb that'll just be on hand at any time that you need them. So yeah, keep that stuff open and just kind of let yourself meditate on just like, hey, I want to draw a cool pose. Just draw that one cool pose. If you want to draw like a really sick volcano or something exploding in a background, or just focus on that. If you want to do effects like clouds or smoke or something like that, just do that. Like start with one thing and just let it kind of build and snowball. It's definitely like very hard to start, but when you get an idea, having the idea to begin with will always evolve and transform. So it's very important to just not be stuck and ball and chained to anything when you begin, because you're going to keep adding details, and you're like, oh, maybe this looks better here, or maybe this lighting looks cooler here. I could put an effect here, or maybe the pose looks a bit stiff here, so I could tighten that all the way at the end of the painting phase or something. So yeah, I would recommend just not being stuck or dying on any hills, because that will stress you out way more than it's worth. And lastly, what kind of process do you recommend when drawing? Funnily enough, I have a paper that can help with this. So this is more so of a resource that I was making like a couple years back that just had to give me a general step-by-step thing to constantly look at that I could peg on my wall. So I'll just read it real quick and then I'll show it. So it's just this flow chart of just idea, thumbnail, sketch, flats, underpaint, and refine details. And I just tried to bullet point all of the things that I thought was very important to just keep in mind as you go through some sort of formula or process that you don't have to mentally think about too much, and you just tackle each thing one by one. I think it's kind of hard to see the yellow, but under the yellow it was a sketch phase, and that gives you the direction, refining, placement, and construction. So all of these little things, again, build up to your final piece and maybe give you the finish that you want to a painting or something like that. So I would just say feel it out, start with a sketch. Even like you can even get paid as an artist to just do a sketch. It's called a sketch commission. So that could be the final stage too. Just take it as far as you want and as far as you feel like it'll look sick. Like, if it'll look cool to you as an artist, I'm pretty sure it'll look pretty dope to the client. So just keep trying, and yeah, you'll develop your own process. But that was mine and sort of what I like to keep in mind. The refinement is totally endless, and yeah, repetition and mileage are super important. So, oh, that was awesome. Okay, not so bad for the first sort of art corner talk. Thank you guys so much for submitting all those really good questions. I want to try and do this every so often just to try and keep in touch and maybe offer a little bit of insight. So yeah, just happy drawing, and like I hope you guys make a lot of sick art, and I'd love to see it on Twitter. So thank you. Bye.